welcome to Expert Matters. Today we are going to speak to Aditya. He's a dynamic product manager with a strong background in product strategy, analytics, and business growth. With experience across top firms, he's built products that drive real impact in the industry. Whether you're looking to transition into product management or scale your career in the same domain, this episode is packed with valuable insight. So let's get started and let's welcome Aditya Kanyari. Thank you so much, Aditya, for taking our time and doing this for us.
Hey, thanks, Shruti, for having me on this in this particular talk. I think I'm very thankful to you, and that's the most generous introduction that I've heard of myself ever. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Aditya, can you please help us understand about your journey so that we can ask you questions, a lot of questions related to your journey?
Sure. I think to put it in one word, I've been a generalist. I'll definitely tell you the places that I've worked with or the people that I've worked with. But keeping in mind that I'm a generalist, I think it'll be easier to place me in these companies. I did my engineering and then further moved. My first job was at Uber in operations. I worked there for close to 1 year, and then moved to a company called Groupon. In India, it was called Nearby, I think, head by Ankur Wariko. I worked for the US side of Groupon, that also for around 1.5 years. Then there was a calling for me to move towards analysis because I saw a lot of business happening in Groupon and I was a little curious on that. So I moved towards real estate analysis, again towards US real estate market. Gained a little bit of experience there. With analysis, I moved towards product analysis, right? That was in the US healthcare domain. Little bit of sales in between where I sold healthcare products across US. But when I got a sort of hang on product market, then I thought this is the right time to move towards that industry very specifically. And hence now I'm working at a company called Zetwork Manufacturing, where I work with the product and tech team as a product manager. So that's been my journey so far. In between, I've done a couple of gigs. I think I work for CureFit as well. I worked for the Merchant Navy for a while, but those are all like side gigs, I call it.
You have had an incredibly diverse career. You have worked in different industries with different companies, with different levels, and of course, different domains. When you worked in Uber and Groupon to healthcare, manufacturing, Zetwork, how did you navigate these transitions? Because it is not a very easy job to transition from one department to another. And while changing a career, or maybe for say, if I am changing a job, same domain, same role, same position, but a different company, it's a tough call to do. But how did you manage different domains, industries, and everything all together? How does your transition look like?
Yeah, well, see, there's a famous quote by, I guess, Steve Jobs. He says, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." So there was a little bit of foolishness in my transitions, but that was also fueled by that hunger that was there. And I think my major push was understanding business problems, right? While I moved across industries, I was able to understand each of these business problems. And then when you have problems, you also need to solve them. And then for that, sort of deriving into those solutions need good amount of problem solving skills. And each of these companies were able to inculcate good skills in me, and hence I was able to move from one place to another, and I also carried a bit of a skill from one place to another, so that helped me in the next company. Definitely, the say I was in company A and I moved to company B, there was something that company B saw in me, which could help them as well. So it is a bit of a challenge, but I would say, if you're looking to become a jack of all trades but master of none, but better than only one, I would say have these at your fingertips. Moving across these companies might be thoda sa like off on your resume, but it has always helped me when I was looking into a very wide role like a product manager. So yeah, it's a good journey, and you should go for these companies. Don't care about what the
Amazing.
industry says about switching.
Do you have any specific challenge to share while switching industries?
I would say, see, when you switch industries or even companies in that sense, there are these jargons and workflows that you come across as soon as you enter these companies, right? Like you have your short forms, you have industry specific terminologies. They might seem very like small, like a problem. That problem is very small, but once you get a hang of it, the confidence that you build is great, right? So I think that is one thing that I saw, which you had to adapt to. But what helped me is just observe, right? Once you know that these are the real or the conventional problems that you see when you move across, just ask the right questions, ask the right people about these jargons or workflows, and adapt to it. That usually helps during these transitions, and a good time in that company as well.
Understood. My next question is completely going to be, why did you choose product management as your specialization and as your full-time domain at a stage? But why am I asking this question is because a lot of students, and because our major crowd of viewers are going to be students who are pursuing MBA and PGDM. Uh, a lot of them look up to careers just for the titles and designations, and they are fixed on that. So, if you can share your journey and any specific moment in your journey where you realize that product management is something for you, the student would also get an idea whether or not they might be interested in the similar domain to develop the skill set while the journey.
Hey, sure. See, quite honestly, when I started my career, I don't think product management was such a big role, right? So it was the big roles were considered to be something like a general manager that sounded very big, and where people managers were considered to be at a higher role. So what is product management? Nobody knew at that point in time. But when I was working in analysis and when I was working parallelly with also the development teams, and I started using these products. And as the age grew, where mobile apps and these usual products became part of your day-to-day life, uh, I thought that is when I got my first idea of, okay, there is something called as product management, right? Like that was not a point where I want to move into it. Uh, but when I started working with product services, that is when I knew that I was still at the bottom of the food chain, right? When you're into a service-based role, you're still at the bottom of the food chain where you are part of the problem solving, but you're not owning the solution end to end. And that I think was my calling, where I realized that when in product management or product analysis, if there is a problem that is given to you, then you own the solution end to end. And the joy of seeing that real impact with your solution in operations or people or companies execution, I think that is what was very driving for me. And this also I realized once I was in product management for around close to 1 year, right? Because when you enter in as well, uh, it's not a mandate that you'll be given to solve a problem from end to end, or at least own it. You'll definitely be working parallelly with them or along with the teams to solve it together. But as and when I moved in and I was able to sort of contribute more, I was given a chance to own the solution and also then celebrate it. So that I think is the major turning point for me, just owning the solutions end to end.
Great. Your journey, to be very honest, it sounds very exciting, because you worked in operations, business analysis, then you moved into many other specialization, and eventually you ended up in product management. We've talked about transition. We've talked about what skill set helped you build credibility and build expertise in the new domains. Can you also share maybe a hack, or maybe for somebody who's watching and getting inspired from your journey? What could be in product management, what skill set, or what does product management industry looks like different from other industries which you have worked in, like healthcare, manufacturing, technology? How is product management so different?
I would say it's not different, rather, it's a culmination of all of these things, right? Like product management as a term, I wouldn't say there is a very straightforward definition to it. Uh, it will definitely depend on the kind of product that you're working on. It depends on the kind of industry that you're working on. It also depends on the kind of company that the kind of company that is owning this product, right? For example, there are multiple food delivery apps, but then each of them have different ways of operating, and each of them uh, give you different things as an end customer. I'm sure there is something or the other that you see between the products which maybe are named similarly or do the service similarly. There is some sort of an edge that each one of these have. Similarly, the role also has its own, I think, dimensions. And for me, product management is sort of like I said, it's a generalist role where solving people's or the company's problem is at utmost importance. But also, a lot of people confuse it with saying that I want to build a, a crazy solution, right? Like a crazy solution which never existed ever. Whether it might be AI or something which is into VR and all of that, right? But what I would say is when if you're moving towards product management, have this just have some first principles in mind, and customers or company, whoever is your end user, always depend on or depend on being reliable and the simplicity, right? So if you keep sort of these two things in mind and have problem solving skill in your mind, I think that would help you at least get in product management or run parallelly with it. I'm not saying product management is the only role which would require these skill sets. There are other ones as well. But this is what has been my observation, that you will always need to keep a user's hat on your head, understand that simplicity is what finally gets you to finish the race, at least, if not uh, you know be the topper, but at least finish the race there.
Great answer to that question, because I was hoping to ask about the transferable skills as well, which you've answered already. So that's great. If you want to succeed in any domain, simplicity is the key. Because product management is varied into different industries, and you do have experience in multiple industries. Can you also help me understand what frameworks or methodologies do you usually rely on while building products?
See, I think one of the methodology or framework, I think the most conventional one is be agile, right? So understand people's problem, start solutioning it from day one. I mean, it's not solutioning on the paper or start coding or start designing. It is start understanding where the problem lies from day one, from the first person that you talk to, from the first hint of the problem that you see, to getting to deliver the first version sooner, right? And that is what has been at least my approach. That don't wait until you build the best product, right? Deliver sooner, get feedback, iterate, and then again repeat. With that, what you see is you're also not running with a time bomb on your head that, hey, you know what, it's been 6 months, there is nothing being delivered. There are other competitors that are coming into picture. The problem also might have changed by the time that you have delivered this particular product. I think be agile and look to deliver quicker with whatever versions you have, with whatever understanding of the problem you have. If you feel that the solution is fair, don't go with delivery faster than the the correctness of the solution. Though there is no correct or right, right or wrong solution to a couple of things, but at least deliver quicker so that you can get a feedback from the people that are using your product or have been operating it.
Understood. Great answer. Again, I want to understand, and a lot of viewers also want to understand about AI and automation impact in product management, because AI has been
Yeah.
impacting and enriching each and every domain. So, for the students who are wanting to or looking forward to build a career in product management or any, for say, technical domain, with AI and automation, do you think it is going to be shape careers of the students, or is it going to be a negative or disadvantage in the industry?
I see. I'm pro AI, right? So I'm not a one who would say that AI is going to kill jobs.
Oh,
It's
great.
only a threat. It's only a threat to people who would say who wouldn't be able to understand or adapt to AI. I would say So start quick. If you're still at a phase where you know AI is only artificial intelligence and you don't know further parts of it or how people have been using it, uh, start searching what's AI. You don't need to build AIs. AIs can be part of your lives by helping you in the regular activities that you do. I'm sure a lot of students and people have been using it. ChatGPT has become, I think, the second of Google now. I rarely find people Googling it. I see people ChatGPTing it now. Uh, but if you're running, if you're looking at roles and you want to make sure that your sort of role is not really replaced by AI, there have been certain roles where they have been replaced by AI. I think some of the key characteristics that you need to develop in you is like mentioned earlier as well. It's critical thinking, right? It's AI still needs a lot of prompts and training. But when a human comes into picture, if you can answer on the first go, that is what is backed by critical thinking. Then the second part is, I think, empathy, right? Though AI nowadays is trained to have empathy, humans naturally have empathy. So I would suggest keep that in mind that if at all somebody says that, hey, you know what, this is what AI does, get in a point where it says, I don't think it can feel me, right? I don't think it can really understand the user's emotion there until and unless there is a prompt that is given to it. And I think last of all, but the most major in industries is business understanding. We know that in our industries, businesses do a lot of hacks. Businesses have a way of working. There is a different aura for a salesman that he carries when he goes into a company and tries to sell his product, which can't be replaced by AI. So please keep those soft skills in mind, and I'm pretty sure that AI can't replace all of this.
Oh, great. That's a good news. And lovely to hear, of course, because I myself, I use ChatGPT more than Google nowadays. Uh,
Yeah,
Aditya, I have a lot of questions for the viewers as of now. I have a few more questions to ask as we move forward. Uh,
sure.
First and foremost is going to be many students or many industrial professionals as well who are already working in the industry. They worry a lot about switching industries too often because in our industry, in our HR department, when we are hiring, inconsistency or stability is considered as a major reason or major drawback while you're switching a job. What would your advice be for the students or maybe for the industrial professionals about this inconsistency, and how can they frame it better as an advantage in their CV or maybe career journey?
Yeah, sure. So I've heard this as well earlier, and I don't know if you can change the conventional thought of of people having about switching jobs, right? It is very subjective, I would say, but switching careers and being still able to work and perform shows adaptability is what I see. Even when I'm looking at people and there are multiple careers being switched. But what I stress on or what I look at is how, what kind of a performer is he, right? Is he or she able to justify the time that he has worked in a company, and what has he or she learned in those companies, right? So my time at that company becomes second priority, whereas my experience in that company and my learnings in that company become the highest for the interviewer or the company that is looking forward to it. So it's all about how you frame it, like you asked. If you've been in multiple companies and you've transitioned across, I think you should frame it as versatility and showing that you've been able to adapt comfortably across these companies, and that I think is a USP, right? I've seen a couple of people working in a company for around 10 and 15 years, and once they want to move out, it's very hard for them because they are not so comfortable to adapt to newer environments. So
True.
I think just frame it as versatility.
Great. If you had to go back in your career and maybe your journey and give yourself a career advice, what would that be?
Well, I would say be less afraid, make more mistakes. I'm sure I've done a couple of them, but I still regret that there were a couple of opportunities to make mistakes there too. And I'm sure I
Mhm.
would have learned and inculcated a lot of skills, but it's never too late. But yes, that's something that I would tell my younger self for sure.
Great advice. Making mistakes, I think it's going to create a lot of opportunities, and that's a
Definitely.
right hack for all the people who are watching this video. My next question is going to be for the students. What advice would you like to give to someone who is still figuring out their career, maybe in the right industry, or maybe they're confused about their career path? What would be the one advice which you will give to everybody in the domain?
Sure. So there are two, I would say there is not one statement. I would still like to choose two sort of ways because I know there is different mindsets there. Certain people who are so clear about what they want to do. I wouldn't advise them to, you know what, hey, you know what, try different things because I'm sure a lot of people are very strong-headed from day one that, hey, you know what, I want to be this, I want to be this is my career path, I want to move to these companies. That's great, right? Like you've already figured it out. So I don't think I'm the right person to give them also advice about this. Whatever they're doing, just do it. But on the other side, if there are people who are very unsure and they're still trying to figure out, keep learning in mind, right? Keep the word called learning in mind, irrespective of whichever industry that you are in, and learn fast, right? Because this is the time that you get to learn. After there's no stop to learning, but there are certain parameters and constraints that come into your life which would close certain windows, not even doors, from which you can't peep out. So use your time now to learn fast and build skills. And later on, I think as and when you build your skills, your industry fit becomes very clearer, and the industry will try to pull you rather than you trying to get into the industry.
Amazing. Aditya, great session. I move forward with my last question.
Yeah.
What is going to be one principle or philosophy that has guided you in your career transition as well as your career journey as a whole?
Uh, See, there is, I think I'll requote Steve Jobs here again. He says that, you know, your time is limited and don't waste it living someone else's life. And I'll add one more, don't waste it living someone else's life or thinking about how it would be to live someone else's life, right? Because I think most of the people spend time thinking, hey, you know what, how would it be to be another role? How would it be to be in another country? How would it be to travel here? I think just execute, be on the path, even if it's smaller steps. And that always has been the guiding principle. Look at the North Star, take small steps. You will definitely reach there, if not tomorrow, day after. So that always has been my sort of guiding principle and motto.
Amazing. Do you do you by any chance read a lot of books?
Okay, so I'm not really a reader. I read a couple of books, and I think nowadays I just chat GPT with the summary of it. But there have been a couple of them, most famous ones being, you know, Atomic Habits, and there is one thing called How to Finish Everything. I don't know the author, but I think that was one of the first books that I needed definitely to read because of the way that I was. I was really curious, so I start painting something, and I stopped it in between. But that book says that it's okay, right? So, How to Finish Everything is some book that I would usually advise to somebody who's studying or at the start of their career. That's I think a good pick.
Great session, incredible session, Aditya. Thank you so much. We actually have discussed everything, all the parts of product management, from cracking the role to solving problems, developing the right skill set, power of simplicity, how to deliver sooner and then feedback and then work again on it. Uh, Incredible. I personally loved talking to you. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Shruti. I mean, your questions were great too. Thanks that it aligned with whatever I know until time now. I was a little hint saying that, hey, you know what if something from encyclopedia comes in? But yeah, thanks for getting me the right questions.
Thank you so much. If you
Thanks.
are aspiring to enter product management or level up your skills, this conversation is a must watch. Don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts in the comments, of course. See you in the next episode of Expert Matters. Thank you so much.